Hello and welcome to PR Today, the podcast all about public relations. My name is Paul Nixie.
And I'm Kylie McMullen.
And today we're going to talk about the Cronut.
Oh, the Cronut. Apparently 8,000 calories of pure goodness.
8,000 calories.
So, the Cronut burger is 8,000 calories.
Right.
Yeah.
Walk us through what is a Cronut burger.
Okay, so at the CNE this year, they did kind of a shock value type food item, which they took the Cronut, which was invented in New York. It's a cross between a croissant and a donut.
Delicious.
And then they put a burger in it and then sold it. So it's like a lot of deep fried. I think it was a double patty, but not sure on that one.
Right.
And it's just like this big monstrosity that I guess people were lining up to eat. And then unfortunately got very sick from.
Got very sick. Now the Cronut, of course, is the latest in a long line of gimmicky extreme foods. We've got the Double Down from KFC.
Which was so gross.
Oh.
That was like 2 breasts of deep fried chicken.
Chicken breasts instead of bread. Who needs bread?
I remember like the people in my office coming back after eating one, and all afternoon they were doing this because the salt content made them so thirsty and dried out their mouth so much.
Taco Bell has a Dorito shell taco.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it the nacho cheese Dorito shell?
Nacho cheese, yeah.
Oh.
And Boston Pizza has a hamburger wrapped in a pepperoni pizza. So, the big trend this year, last year, extreme food.
Yeah, and it seems to be a bit of a counteraction to the fact that, so many people are going healthy, local, organic, farmers markets are buzzing, and so as kind of complete opposite, people are trying to find and eat these extreme foods, and a lot of restaurants are really trying to get some traction from that momentum, and especially with social media where people are Instagramming what they're eating and tweeting and Facebooking what they're eating, they can get a lot of buzz around kind of these extreme examples of really unhealthy, kind of disgusting sounding foods.
Right, exactly. So, which brings us to the CNE.
Yeah.
In the United States, of course, there's a long tradition of county fairs, and they have things like deep fried butter and
deep fried Mars bars,
deep fried everything,
Oreos,
basically.
deep fried Coke. I think they had once.
Ooh,
yeah.
Delicious. So the CNE in Toronto, of course, wants to get a little press for itself, and so the Cronut burger is born.
And unfortunately, apparently it had like a bacon jam on it.
Maple bacon jam.
Maple bacon jam that made a lot of people sick. Which kind of brings us to, this discussion of, does shock PR work?
Right.
And what happens, if you don't actually have a very good product behind it?
Right. First thing that pops out for me, did they have a crisis plan?
Yeah.
It was a food truck. I'm assuming they did not have a crisis
probably
plan.
not.
Right. If you're launching a product, launching an event, a festival, whatever you're doing, always have a crisis plan. Every good PR practitioner has a plan in place if something goes wrong, because eventually something will go wrong.
Yeah, and I'm sure they were very concerned about like cooking the patties right and everything like that, but maybe probably didn't even think about this jam. So, crisis can kind of happen anywhere, and the things you worry about might not be the thing that actually causes the crisis.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the people who were making the burger are not, of course, responsible for the jam. This could happen in any restaurant. You get a supplier who has a bad product.
Exactly.
But the people who were selling the burger certainly took the hit for it, and their product made a lot of people sick.
Yeah, which was pretty unfortunate.
So, in the food world, public relations is hugely important because it's also you have public safety on the line.
For sure.
What are some tips for food production, PR? What do we do if something goes wrong?
Yeah, so definitely have dealt with a lot of food-related recalls in my career, and you definitely want to make sure that, like Paul said, you have a crisis plan in place and that you're ready to execute. And I think the biggest thing you have to do is own it, make sure you're in contact with the right authorities, like Health Canada, to make sure the word is spread quickly, if anything, so that people know if something's making them sick, because you really want to minimize how many people get sick from your product, and make sure that, first and foremost, you want to make sure public safety is your number one goal before you even try to worry about your reputation or anything like that. Public safety is always number one. And
getting in front of the story.
And getting in front of the story, for sure.
Often helps your reputation anyway.
Exactly. And especially when people's lives or health is on on the line, you definitely want to be the first to let people know. You don't want to take any kind of time to try to think of like how you're going to reputation manage before you let Health Canada know, and takes proactive action. You also probably want to have a 24-hour call line, because when people are sick, they do become really upset and really agitated and want to talk to someone right away. So if they can't get information from you, they're going to start, talking to the media or start talking to other people who may not be able to give them the right information. So you want to make sure you have a very strong customer service team who's manning the phones and ready to speak to anyone who's worried about, if they've eaten the product, if they're giving the product to their child, if they have a competitor's product and think it might have the same issue. Definitely want to make sure that you're up and running with that, and you're probably going to be working some pretty long hours. And then next, you really want to make sure that you give people the most truthful and accurate information. Sometimes, the problem isn't with your product, it's with a supplier's product, especially if, you're a fast food company and you're getting your lettuce from a certain supplier.
Or your maple bacon jam.
So you definitely want to make sure you have good relationships with your suppliers so that you can make sure that you're working together to kind of get in front of this story and give people information. Sometimes, suppliers will be kind of nowhere to be found, and you can't just blame your supplier and be like, well, it's not my problem. It still is your problem if that's your product and your name behind it. So you definitely have to still, do all the things that you would do even if it was your organization's fault.
Interesting. Good. So after this maple bacon jam incident with the Cronut burger, would you have one?
Well, I'm a vegetarian, so no.
No.
But I would try a Cronut.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
As much as I don't like extreme foods in terms of like, I'm never going to eat a Double Down, probably never eat a Boston Pizza pepperoni burger thing. I do really get excited by like donut, like all the little food trends like donuts or macarons or whatever, some other ones, mini cupcakes.
Deep fried Mars bar.
Deep fried Mars bars. I have not had one of those. Have you had one?
I have not. I think we should try it though, and I think our next podcast taping should be at the Cronut Bakery in New York.
Absolutely.
Good.
I'm booking our flights this afternoon.
PR Today road trip.
Amazing.
Good stuff. So that's all we have to say about the Cronut burger. Sound off in the YouTube comments if you like. And that's PR Today for today.
Talk to you next time. Thanks a lot.